Ooh. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Gervonta, somebody pointed out that I did a video. We were talking about Gervonta Davis. Sounded like he was losing motivation, tired of training, tired of the sport of boxing. He just sounded like he sounded discouraged, deflated, and just over boxing. He didn't at all say, I made enough money from the sport. I feel that I'm in a position where I can transition and just become a civilian. That's not how that conversation went. His comments to me derive from just like being unhappy. And someone in the comments said, hey, he just needs a change of scenery along those lines. And, I had to agree with him. When you listen to him, right, he didn't sound like somebody who was felt like they did everything they could do in the sport of boxing. Sounded like somebody who was more fed up. And when the person in the comments said, hey, he needs a change, right? Like change of scenery. And it made me think about being at certain assignments after a couple of years and not liking your leadership, not liking the goddamn, assignment you're at, not liking the people. There's may not have been much to do or whatever the case. And then you lose motivation. It's hard to get up in the morning and go into the goddamn workplace. And it sounds like Gervonta Davis is getting some of that. Now, what would happen with me, being that I was a guy in the military, I could volunteer for an assignment and maybe go overseas or talk to my functional manager and be like, hey, what you guys have going on, and see some openings. And they look at how long I've been on station. They say, yeah, we can get you out of there. And when I used to have a permanent change of station, so let's say I was stationed and living in Florida, and I didn't like it. And then I got an assignment and say, I end up in Hawaii. You may find that motivation again. You may find that excitement again. Your conversation is going to change. You're not going to talk about wanting to get out the military or you just have that quit mentality. No, you're going to sound like you guys want to hang around a little bit longer. And I think with Gervonta Davis, I'm not sure where he lives. I think he has houses in a couple places. But if he's still in an area that that's bringing him down mentally, emotionally, spiritually, he needs to get out of there, whether that's living in Baltimore, whether that's living in wherever he's at, whether that's training in certain areas. Maybe he needs to find a different area to train. Even with his coaches. I'm not saying you get rid of him at all. Maybe he and his coaches, have a conversation. But whatever it is, I think there needs to be a change. But really, a change of scenery, I think, would be good. He mentioned the training camps and how hard they are. I mean, training's going to be difficult. The shit they put their body through, man. I used to train a lot. I used to work out a lot. Nothing like, I ain't going to say nothing like those guys. I'm not even going to say that because I used to fucking run marathons. I used to box. I used to fucking lift weights. I used to do a lot of shit. I trained hard, man. I used to train so hard my body be fucking shaking. So I'm not going to say nobody fuckers train harder than me. What I'll tell you is I understand if they're putting themselves through like the shit, I'm pretty sure they're putting themselves through like the shit I used to put myself through. Run 6 miles, come back, get on the stair stepper, man, for fucking hour and a half. Then go in there and lift weights, hit the heavy back, speed back. My body, like I would be walking to the gym, my body be shaking. Plus I'd be cutting weight at the time. And that shit was, one time my whole body was shaking. I was walking, I was with this girl, and she was like, the girl I was dating at the time, she's like, you all right? I was like, yeah. She was like, yo, your whole body's shaking. But it's just pushing yourself. And I know all of those guys who are fighters have that mentality. Maybe they need to evolve the way they train. But the bottom line is, Gervonta needs to see something different, whether it's where he's training at, the type of training he's doing, whatever the case is. And I think that fire will come back. Also, the other thing that no one really is talking about, let me tell you something. You don't know, right? But maybe he needs to see something different with his relationship with his children and the mothers of his children, right? Maybe he needs to see something different there. Maybe there's something he's not seeing that makes him sad, makes him frustrated, makes him angry. And that could be the fact that he's not with his daughters as much as he wants. It could be that the daughters' mothers and him, maybe they feel that he's putting his kids second to his career and they want him to put the kids first. Maybe it could be that he's not seeing the fans appreciate him for what he brings to the table. Because the reality is this, Gervonta Davis, some of the opponents that he fought, I personally think those opponents will beat Shakur Stevenson, will beat Teofimo Lopez, and I think they'll beat Devin Haney. And I'm just being real with you. But all in all, I think if Gervonta gets a new change of scenery and sees a few things differently and looks and understands what he has control over and then what he doesn't have control over, I think Gervonta Davis we could find Gervonta Davis wanting to stick around the sport of boxing a bit longer. But only he knows what he feels inside. And there's nothing I can say, you can say, none of us can say that once a person's mind is made up, that could cause them to change their decision. Because thoughts become actions. And when you listen to him speak, those are his thoughts, right? He's conveying his thoughts to the whole boxing community. And the actions to follow could be an adequate training camp. It could be a lackluster performance. It could be him saying, F those last two fights in 2025. I'm done. Conversely, you could see where somehow he gets a spark. They decide, hey, Gervonta, man, let's do things a little differently. And he kind of rekindles that flame that he once had for the sport of boxing. But the bottom line is he's trying to strike that right balance between himself and his children and the sport of boxing. And there's a triad there. There's Gervonta, his kids, boxing. And he's trying to get the right balance. And let me tell you something. When I was in the military, we had this thing. You got morale, which is for everyone to be happy. Then you got the mission, things that have to get done, and trying to strike the right balance. And a lot of times, the mission comes before your fucking morale, all right? So you got subordinates who want to be happy. You want to be happy, but if there's things that have to get done, it's got to get done. If you got to work longer than an 8, 10-hour, 12-hour day, you got to do it. And that's where, if you do that over and over and over, you can find a person sounding like Gervonta Davis saying, I don't know if I'm going to do this another year or so. Because it kills you. That's why you need a change of scenery, a change of pace. Something's got to change. You can't continue with that same routine because you're not going to want to fucking do it. And I've been there. But anyway, good luck to Gervonta. I think that change of scenery would help a lot. But the bottom line, he's trying to strike the right balance between himself. I would say work because, that's how I talk, but that boxing and his kids. But it's some kids, man. I'm telling you, if he can get the right balance and all the stars line up, Gervonta will hang around more. He'll stop talking like that. But right now, there's something going on. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.